Hi, this is Randy. Welcome to my channel. Glad to have you here today. God is good. Today we're going to be talking about the risk of doing nothing. The risk of doing nothing. And just before we do, I'm going to ask you, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Takes 5 or 10 seconds to do that, and it'll really help my channel out if you would help me. Thank you so much. The risk of doing nothing. Life comes with risk. The only risk you should avoid is the risk of doing nothing. Some people are afraid, well, if I do this, I may fail. Well, you need to look at all the people that have failed. President Grant failed twice in business. Many other people failed. President Truman had a business and he failed at that. And he worked hard for years to try to pay off all the debt from that business, and he did. And some of the inventors, John Washington Carver, sometimes he worked over and over and tried and failed till he developed a way to use peanut butter and to use peanuts in crops to help the farmers out. So failure is part of life. You got to learn to deal with it, but risk is something you need to do for the Lord. If you never take a risk and you never do anything for the Lord and step out, you're going to accomplish nothing. Life has risk. And yes, you may fail at times, but without risk, you may never accomplish anything for the Lord. All right? There are times when I was preaching and the Lord would say, not every week, I'm not implying that, but the Lord would say to me, there are people here who are sick that needs prayer. All right? Just general information. At the end of the service, I'd say there are people here that are sick. Sometimes the Lord would tell me, there's people here that are really having problems with their back or whatever it may be. And they would get up and come down and I would pray for them. And some people say, oh, I feel a little bit better. Some people told me the next Sunday, that really helped me a lot. I'm not completely 100%, but it did help, especially having you pray for me. It made me feel good that somebody kind of shared my pain, knew what I was going through. See, without risk, what if I got up and said that nobody came forward? That's a risk that you take. I had the Lord many times impress upon me, there's somebody here that has a suicidal tendency. You need to call them out and you need to pray with them. That's a hard thing to do. And I'd go on and I close the service with a song and I'll get ready to pray. And I said, I can't really close it. The Lord's been impressing upon me for the last 15 minutes. Somebody here's dealing hard with thoughts of suicide and harming themselves. If you come forward, I'll pray with you, God, and we'll agree together. I don't want you to do something foolish and cost your life. And some guy stood up and come walking down and tears running out his face. And he said, I've been having I've thought for several days about taking my own life. And I'm trying to come out with a plan. Where can I go to do it without my kids seeing it and all that? The risk that you take. Will someone come forward? Maybe not. Then everybody thinks, oh, he missed God. He didn't know what he was talking about. Not always. Sometimes there are people that just won't respond. They know it's them, but he did. So without risk, you accomplish nothing. Complacency will kill you to trying to reach people for Christ and trying to do things. We're just afraid to do anything for the Lord and to help people. You should always try to do what you can for the Lord and follow the leading of the Spirit, and you'll have good achievements in life. You'll achieve nothing in life if you aren't willing to take a risk. And that means you step out by faith, all right? When you step out by faith. Luke chapter 2 and verse 49 says, and he said to them, why is it that you are looking for me? Did you not know that I had to be in my Father's house? They were looking for the Lord. He said, I've got to take care of business. I'm in the Father's house. We all have something to do, but we need to step out, and without risk, there is nothing that you can accomplish. I remember one time the Lord impressed on me to go over to a young married couple, shake their hand, and give them $100. All right, now most Christians or good Christians say, Lord, is that you? Oh no, the devil's telling you to share money with people and help somebody out in need. Come on, get real. I went over there and shook his hand as I patted him and gave him a hug. And he looked down. I was already walking away. He come running after me. He grabbed me. He goes, he had tears in his eyes. He goes, you have no idea what this means to me and my family. I said, well, the Lord does. Have a nice day. He goes, I'll get it back to you. I said, no, you won't. It's a gift. The Lord told me to do it. Have a wonderful day. And I walked off. Are you bragging on yourself? No, I know about me and don't know about you. But I did what the Lord told me to do, and it was right. Why? Because I was afraid the risk of what if I go over there and he gets insulted? What if I go over there and then he says, because of his pride, he says, oh, we don't need any help. I don't know why you're doing this. You don't know. But I felt like the Lord wanted me to do it, so I did it, and it was received. We need to realize there are risks when you do stuff, and you need to step out and not let risk keep you from doing it. You should be busy doing something for the Lord, whatever it may be. We don't all do the same jobs. Some are teachers, some are preachers, some are encouragers, some are workers. It depends on what you want to do for the Lord and what the Lord wants you to do. Things we should do for people because there will be risk involved. A lot of people says, well, I was going to do this. I was going to do that. Gonna got nothing done. All right. When the Lord impresses on you to do something, do it right then. If they're standing there, you're in a service, many times the Lord impresses on me, go over and pray for so-and-so. I'm like, Lord, I don't know them that good. I just see them in church once in a while. And I'm arguing with the Lord. The Lord says, go over there and pray for them now. And I go over there and I said, can I pray for you? I wished you would. Then I knew right away I was doing what God wanted me to do. I wished you would. I start praying for them. They cry, I cry, they hug me and everything else. It didn't disturb the service. They were still having praise and worship. But you do what the Lord tells you. There's risk involved. You go over and say, hey, I feel like the Lord wants me to pray for you. I don't need any prayer. I don't know why you're over here. I mean, that could happen. But you got to take the risk of doing what you want for the Lord. You should advise people. You shouldn't avoid people. You should avoid not taking a risk for the Lord. The risk of doing nothing is something that you shouldn't take. That's not the path you want to go down. The risk of doing nothing. Thank you for your time, this time, till next time. Old Rev May is going to sign off. You have a wonderful day, and God bless you.